All right, so
Facebook/Instagram. We'll throw them into one bucket.
Right.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. Since you're the expert marketer for Facebook, so
I'm gonna go appropriately rated.
the one thing is, when we go underrated, overrated, we also consider the cost of advertising.
When I say underrated, overrated, I mean basically what's a it's in a marketing sense, it's more like what ROI can you expect, really, is what I'm saying, underrated, overrated. And when I say underrated, it means, hey, I think you can get a good ROI because not a lot of people are paying attention to this. Versus overrated is, oh, this is saturated, it's hard to get a good ROI. The reason I say Facebook is neutral, where for the past decade, I would have said underrated, but now Facebook, Instagram is neutral, is just because, you know, everybody's marketing on Facebook and Instagram now. All the big companies are there too now. And I mean, we see it. It's just, especially with a larger budget, when you start scaling, right? If you're spending, you know, $30 a day, $50 a day, yeah, you can still get a good return. That's fine. But as you try to scale to hundreds and thousands of dollars a day, it's just much, much harder than it used to be to get a solid return. And that's why I think that Facebook, I don't think it's underrated. I don't think it's overrated. I think it's appropriately rated. I think that it's a solid marketing channel. Of course, we obviously manage a lot of companies' marketing budgets on Facebook. It's if you do it right, you have the right strategy, you can do very well. But I don't think that it is underrated anymore. I don't think that there's any secret about Facebook marketing anymore.
I know, but from all the different forms of advertising, obviously within the digital marketing world, what I do like about Facebook, Instagram is the fact that you can target the audience so granularly. Like, you can actually target the groups and the people and the demographics that you want much better than you do with pretty much any of the previous options that we've mentioned the last hour. So
it really depends on what you're selling. So for us, right, when we're doing as our agency, we do much more hyper targeting, as I like to call it, than I would do for someone who's selling a mass market product. Because for us, you know, as an agency, there's a very small subset of people on Facebook that are going to be a client of ours, you know. But if you're selling something that's like, you know, whatever, a computer, there's a huge market for people in computers.
Right.
The thing that Facebook has over most other platforms is, even though it's much harder to scale, it is still the best platform for scaling. To go from a $1,000 a month budget to a $50,000 a month budget is very possible with Facebook, whereas other platforms, it's very hard. That's the biggest advantage.
But don't you think that also the ability to retarget people, like you said, a broad
but
subject,
you can
like computers, for
platforms.
example. Obviously, everybody can use a laptop computer or anything. It doesn't matter what demographic or income level, whatever. Everybody uses iPhones, computers,
right,
or mobile devices. But if you're shopping around, and obviously Facebook has its own tracking pixels and everything else, don't you think that Facebook and all these digital marketing options, including Google, that we'll get into, offer you the ability to retarget people based on what
but Facebook isn't unique in that. Every platform offers retargeting now.
I mean, we're talking digital platforms now. So that, to me, that's why...
But I'm saying, like, you can retarget with Google, Pinterest, Amazon, Snapchat. You can retarget with all of them. So that's not unique to Facebook.
Well, but the unique thing with Facebook is that you can retarget... regardless of browsers and things. You retarget people based on their profile. And with Google, you are more dependent on the browsers, on the computer used and everything else. So with Facebook, you're going to the profile. So the way Facebook retargets people more than devices. So that's a critical difference that, to me, makes the Facebook and
Google
Instagram
does
much
that
more...
too now, though. Because almost everybody has some type of Google account.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying, but I think all platforms have gotten a lot better at the retargeting now, that it's not such a unique thing to Facebook anymore. The biggest thing, like I said, to me on Facebook is that while it's harder to scale than it used to be, it's still the easiest to scale compared to like Google. I think scaling Google is much harder than Facebook, just because on Google you're much more limited. Obviously, if you're doing search, you're limited to how many people are searching, and then even Google Display, when you start to scale, it can get a lot more expensive because you basically run out of places to put your ads. Whereas Facebook, because obviously they have so many users, because Facebook, Instagram, I'm saying in a bundle, but as Facebook, Instagram has so many users of so many demographics and interests and everything, that it is the easiest to scale out of all the platforms. That's the biggest advantage that Facebook
So let me ask you this, which is a very practical question. A client comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to advertise my company. I sell XYZ widget, whatever, and I only have $2,000 a month."
Oh, just Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, at a smaller budget, you can still get good returns. It's just that, $2,000 a month is when you're just starting out. But as a company grows and you want to spend $1,000 a day, then it gets harder. It does get harder. But I'm just saying that it's appropriately rated now, not overrated, underrated. Because before, it used to be that if you were spending $30,000 a month or more, you could get a 5-to-1 return. That's just not very realistic these days. It's so hard to get that kind of return these days when you're spending bigger budgets. But you can still get a good return, and like I said, you can scale.
Do you think that Facebook is still undervalued as far as the cost of advertising? I mean, it used to be very undervalued.
Yeah,
like
it used to be a lot.
Ago.
I think it's appropriate.
How much do you think is increased in the last couple of years? It's probably doubled. I mean, it used to be,
yeah,
I remember when Facebook used to be $5-6 CPM, and now it's like 12.
Yeah, but it really the thing that's gone up the most is certain segment audiences. So if you're going after the bigger purchasers on Facebook, let's say the top 10% of purchasers on Facebook, I don't want to get too nitty gritty, but like when you select your campaign type, most people go out their conversion campaigns, and that's the best way to do it because Facebook's going to optimize for people that convert more. But that's a pretty small subset compared to the large Facebook audience, and that group of people that are the conversion audience, let's say it's the top 10% of converters on Facebook, is getting very expensive because everybody's running
it's like
campaigns. Now, if you just want a traffic campaign, which I don't recommend running if you're like a D2C company, I would not do traffic campaigns. But that's still pretty cheap. You can get lots of people for not that much money.
So let's jump to